Hey everyone, I'm Jake Krupski, one of the co-founders here at mobile.dev. I'm really excited to share this conversation with Randy Sie from Eneco. Eneco's one of the leading energy providers in the Netherlands, and Randy leads the automation team there. And it's a great story, kind of starting from scratch. When he came on board, they had no mobile automation in place. So it's a great story walking through the evaluation of tools they went through once they chose Maestro, getting buy-in. They included a pitch to the whole company, including the CEO, which was a big hit. And then the process of implementing and scaling out their testing strategy. And so, anyway, I think it's just a real inspiring story that a lot of folks can relate to. So let's dive in. Hey, hey everyone. I'm Jake Krupski, one of the co-founders here at mobile.dev. And I am proud to be alongside Randy here from Eneco, who was kind enough to take some time to share his story on how his organization adopted Maestro. So anyway, without further ado, Randy, great to have you here, man. And if you
Same.
don't mind, tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do? And tell us a bit about your company and what they do.
Yes. Let's first start with the company, I guess. So work at Eneco, one of the biggest energy suppliers from Netherlands. Also shareholders from Japan, so Mitsubishi. So it's
Cool.
really everywhere actually. Yeah, I've been working there for 4 years approximately, I guess, and been in the QA space for about 11 years. So started manually, after that automation, like almost all QAers, I guess. Because eventually you just don't want to click anymore and want to automate things. So yeah, so in these 11 years, I've done Selenium with Appium, Playwright, Cypress, backend, front end, it doesn't really matter. Uh, yeah, and then I started Eneco as external. Eventually, it was such a good company that I went internally. And
Okay.
that's where the whole automation started rolling, actually.
Awesome. 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 So tell us a bit. So Eneco is an energy company. So then what are like the mobile apps?
Yeah, so we got a service app where you can see all your usage of your electricity, your gas, your heat, etc.
Okay.
Um, it goes, yeah, it's really broad. So it goes from your information for charging your car, information for your usage, for your bills, your invoices, um, payment arrangements, everything. So it's just an giving as much as insights as possible to the customer, so we don't get any more questions from the customer. And relieve them from the pain of going through all the how do you say it, all the usage bills and cumbersome data that you need to go through to
Got
actually
it.
check how much you need to pay.
Cool. So like a consumer app for your energy customers, kind of tell them
Yeah.
everything about it. Awesome. So then tell me when you started working there, how are y'all approaching your like testing process and like what did you walk into initially?
Yes, sadly, I walked into a company that didn't do any automation for the app and for web. So we also got a web portal, and there was also no automation there. But at first, I started there as a test coordinator, um, to do the whole migration of the app because we had to digest multiple labels because of the whole energy crisis. So I did the test coordination for it, and after that, I stayed there as a QA engineer. There was no automation in place, so the first thing I did was automating the web part. So that's all done, and after that, we had to look at an automation framework for the mobile part. So we did a lot of POCs for that.
Got
Yeah,
it. Got it.
and it started.
So then So then you came across Maestro at that time, I'm assuming. So tell me a bit about the origin of finding it and then kind of why you ultimately decided to go with it.
Yeah, so as a normal process, we did a lot of different POCs with Appium, Selenium, Java. I'm more at first. I was more at customized with that because I did it with different companies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, and I had a conversation with other colleagues, and they suddenly dropped the name Maestro, actually. Uh, but they didn't look at it yet. So I had to, I was really intrigued, so I checked it out. So we had multiple POCs. So we had the Appium Selenium with Java. We had with Tosca, actually. And we had with Maestro. And then just a quick POC. Okay, how is it performing? Is it reliable? How's the speed? We always prefer the open sourceness project, so that's also something to take account.
Yep.
And the learning curve, because at that time I was the only automation engineer within Eneco for the online department. So for me, it was also really important to have like a short learning curve so that the functional testers will also pick it up really fast and get to know automation so that we can actually create an impact faster and also how do you say that? Because eventually we want to make the delivery time less,
Yep.
the time to deliver. So it was important for us to just have something that is fast, reliable, and a shorter learning curve as possible, so that we can actually make an impact.
Awesome.
And it has to integrate with the things that we already had, so Bitrise, Azure, etc.
Got it. Got it.
And then for so when I was looking at the Selenium Appium, it was all the POC was set up, but eventually I also had a talk with the different QAers within Eneco, and I noticed that they didn't really have like previous knowledge of Java, for example, and how actually set up the framework, etc. So it was more cumbersome to actually get them up to speed. With Tosca, it was you are kind of stuck to a really big company with a really big tool, and um, it's slow, and it's actually just running on Selenium with Appium. So in the end, it was between Selenium and Appium and Maestro. Um, so after setting up the whole Maestro project, it was really small at first, so just 2 flows, 3 flows, something like that. And then I had a demo for the different creators within the different teams, because we have 4 teams within the online department. Um, and then I showed it to them and explained to them how it actually works, how they can create the flows, and it was actually surprisingly simple. So within a day or two, they already created like a couple flows, and we could really show the management layer like, yeah, look what we already did. Look how the speed is. It's a lot faster and reliable, flakiness wise, with Appium, Selenium. So that's why we pivoted the Maestro side and eventually build it out to a really huge project within Eneco, actually.
Yeah, amazed. Oh man, that's such a cool story. I I definitely get to hear these stories a lot, and that there's a similar vein, but awesome to hear kind of that you were able to put that in front and then it just caught. So tell me a bit. So after you kind of decided to go with Maestro, what was the then what? I guess like then how did it get scaled out? Did more, was it easy to get a bunch of people ramped up on it? And then how do you have it like implemented into your development process?
The way to ramp it up, how actually I did it was build out the whole structure that we want so that every team can actually is able to use it. At first, it was not in a pipeline, but just a repo in Azure. So it's shared between all the teams with all their own folders, their own structure, their own config, etc. So it's already available for them. After that, I did a demo of the Maestro and the whole presentation to 100 people within
Wow.
Eneco. So it was a whole auditorium full with the people,
Nice.
with stakeholders, with even the CEO actually. So it's really a really big presentation.
Oh my
And
gosh.
there, everyone was really excited because um, actually of the speed and of the it's just reliable and
Hmm.
it's easy to start with. And then we also showed some good numbers. So as you can imagine, everything was manual. So it took per team for a full regression, it took more than 4 hours per team, and we had like 4 teams. So every time we do a release, it's like 16 hours of work for
Yeah.
regression. And
Yeah.
then I did the calculation and already did like 120 flows or something like that before the presentation. And I just showed them the numbers, like look at this, because it was like in 1 hour it's done. And then within 1 hour. And then they were really surprised. And then in their head, it's already the cost benefits, right? And
Yeah.
then
Wow.
we were able to
Wow.
really scale it up and make it mandatory within every team. And then everything came rolling, and we had to do the pipelining, set all the Azure pipelining up, the Bitrise pipelining, and just kill it from there.
Amazing. Wow. Wow. That's such a cool story, man. Props to you getting in front of the whole company presenting that to 100 people. Man, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was really nice. It was really nice.
Oh man, well done. Well done. All right, so I think last thing is then kind of okay, you got regression suite in now. Like what's it look like today? Like are you, you've kind of mimicked the regression testing as much as you can. Or I know when I've talked to you, you're kind of trying to shift your testing sooner in the development process, right? Like so how are you guys thinking about that and how are you getting there?
Yeah, so within Eneco, we are always trying to find a way to shift left.
Hmm.
Um, so we are creating the nightly builds for the app, and every nightly build will actually create the nightly build is created in Bitrise, and that will spin up a PR to our Azure pipeline, and there we check what is in the build, in the PR, what has
Yeah.
changed, what is not, and by filtering that, we actually put different filters, tags on it that you can
Yep.
use in Maestro,
Yep.
different tags, and considering that, it will trigger certain tests that we have in Maestro, and it will put it in Robin, and there we can see the whole thing running, and eventually we create the whole reporting thing on our own in the Azure pipeline from the logs itself, and then we send it to Slack to the different teams that is yeah that needs that information.
Incredible.
That is
Incredible.
how it's looking now, and it's like it's now 4 teams, so the whole online domain is already working with it. Um, and every nightly build, we get the reports, and every release build is also the same. So with every release, it's also the build is getting spinned up in Bitrise, PRs coming to our Azure, and from there we again check the tags, etc., and then spit out the correct command to run the correct test within the Robins.
Man, amazing. Dude, that's such a cool story. I think kind of to like wrap up a little bit of this, what now that you have like kind of some of the core automation in place, like what are you spending your time on now? Like what's next for you all there?
So
And yeah, kind of maybe some of your lessons learned that someone who's checking out this video could learn from as well.
Yeah, at first, lesson learned is really look at the structure of your teams.
Yeah.
Make sure the structure of your automation project is also structured, yeah, so the team can actually use it. Because at first, we had difficulties with how we will create the common layer. So we
Yeah.
have a common layer, and that is managed by the foundation QA people. That's where I'm now in. We actually built the framework out, we built structure out, and then the processes, and that we deliver to the different teams, the DPFs we call. Um, but that's really important. So how are you going to manage it? And also with the tag system, like how we actually created. Sometimes, if you touch the common layer, you actually want to spin up the whole regression suite because it touches everything. Um, I still don't know if the common layer was the good way to go
Mm.
because now especially with the pipeline runtime limits of Azure, you really don't want to spin up everything always.
Hmm.
And a lot of times with a page object model, you touch the common layer. So then it spins up the whole thing. So maybe we have to split up this common layer and create common layers within the different teams.
Got it.
Um, Maybe we'll do that. I think we're going to do that to reduce the runtime because everything is about runtime. You
Yep.
want it as possible and not run to at the limits of your pipeline.
Yeah.
And in Bitrise, it just costs more money if you run longer. In Azure, it will just cancel the whole pipeline. So that's also a thing.
It's good.
Yeah, that's I think the most important thing for the Maestro project part. For the rest, it's really nice to implement within your company because it's just smooth sailing. To
Yeah.
be really honest.
Dude. Well, Randy, thank you for taking the time to share your story, man. We're proud to work with you. Lots of great things to come. Um, and so anyway, we'll
Hope
sign
to work with
out
you for
there.
a long time.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Cool.
Thanks.
Cut. Scene cut.
Yes.